If you're a fan of Olight or O-Knife or any of the O products, you might already know that it's O-Fan Day, and you know what that means. I think that's all of it. There's a lot to talk about. How's it going, everybody? I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny, and we've got a boatload to talk about today. I'm excited because every time a new product drops, Olight really does a great job of making things that are limited, making things that are just plain cool. And they do such a phenomenal job with their packaging, with everything. That's why they've been gaining so much steam. And this one is no different. And whether or not you are an O fan or just someone that likes EDC, I think that there's something in here for everybody. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out what's new with Olight. And just like Christmas, O-Fan Day comes once a year, and with it brings some really cool products. We got 3 brand new ones today, and I'm really excited about it. But that's not all. If you're a brand new customer to Olight and you buy something here on O-Fan Day, you actually get this i3E EOS. However, if you're a returning customer, an existing member, and you log in and buy something, you get the i1R2 Pro, which is special for this event. It's called the Center. It's got this really cool little motif going on with the compass rose and all that good stuff. But that's not in fact what you're here for. You're here to see about these 3 brand new products that I have in front of me, and we're going to go over each and every one so that you can check them out. This is the Metal 2, and that is M-E-T-T-L-E and not M-E-T-A-L. Metal is what you're made of, you know. Are you made of the stern stuff? And this is, in fact, the 2nd generation of the metal. That being said, this is a pretty dang cool knife. It is going to be very pocket friendly, very carry friendly. We're looking at some good materials here as well. Now, this is going to retail for about 75 bucks. However, if you get in on the sale, these are going to be about 20% off. So you're going to be looking in the $50 range. And what does your hard-earned money get you? Well, it gets you some 154 cm on the blade, this really, really nice canvas micarta that is very well done, deep carry pocket clip. It's a button lock running on bearings with a single-sided captive pivot. And this one actually has a deployment hole that is inset into the blade on both sides. The pocket clip itself is pretty good because, as you can see here, there is no mushrooms growing in the shade. Those are flat top screws, and it is completely reversible. For those of you who do like to have a lanyard hole, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. And I could see why some people would, because this is not a huge knife. This is actually a rather small knife, but it's going to be great for EDC. Now, I wear medium to large size gloves, and I can still get a full 4-finger grip. With a bit larger hands, your pinky might be curling around the side here, but you know what, be that as it may, it still is a knife that you can carry and not feel like your hand is slipping off the entire time. It does have a flipper tab here that has a decent amount of jimping, and you also get some decent jimping here on the spine of the blade as well. So while you might not be able to choke up on this too much, you can get some good reinforcement from your thumb there on the top. It indexes rather well. It is very lightweight, and it's not going to stick out in your pocket. Let me show you what I mean. I'll go ahead and compare this up against something like, oh, I don't know, how about a CJRB Pyrite? This is the CJRB Pyrite. It's a knife that a lot of people know and love, and this one is going to be very, very comparable. They're both button locks. They're both smaller blade profiles, and you'll notice that they're actually very similar in the blade profile, except this one is, of course, a Wharncliffe. Footprint in your pocket, they're also going to be rather close, but the metal too is actually going to be a bit thicker, and that has a lot to do with the fact that this has steel liners topped with these micarta handle scales. With that being said, I do think that this is a great option for people that want something that's not made out of D2 and not made out of G10. If you like button locks, good action, maybe you like to deploy with the middle finger flick, you could do that too. Now, I will say this. This is not a whole lot of access to that deployment hole. You do have to dig a little bit, but can you get it? Absolutely. Those with the super sausage fingers might have a little bit of difficulty, but I do not, and there it is. With that being said, the flipper tab also works really well, primarily as a light switch. If you do the push button, there's, it'll do it, but it's not the best action. Light switch is definitely the way to go, and I don't think that anyone will have any issue with that. You can, of course, also do this. I really like this micarta because this is the kind of micarta that's going to patina well over time, and it's only going to improve the look, and the aesthetic is really good, as well as the ergonomics. It's very comfortable in the hand. They contoured the right areas, and the micarta is thick enough to give you a really confident and comfortable grip. I really like this one, and I think for the price point, you could do a heck of a lot worse. But let me know what your thoughts are on the metal in the comment section down below. Let's go ahead and check out that Olight. This is the Olight Baton 3 Pro, and I gotta say, I absolutely love how Olight does their packaging. It has a very Apple-esque feel to it, so if you've ever unboxed an iPhone before, you probably know what I'm talking about. They include everything, but it's very simplistic, nice matte white finish. You get cool things in here like a soft bag as well as also a magnetic charging cable. It's all very, very good. Now, once you get it out of the bag, this is what you're looking at. And guys, yes, this is a Baton 3 Pro, and the model itself is not new, but this is a limited edition. They call this one the Silver Ridge, and it's got this really nice topographic pattern on there. It's going to fit in really well with the rest of your carry, especially if you carry knives or other EDC items on a regular basis. Now, this one is very comparable to something like the Warrior Mini 3, but what makes this very attractive is the fact that it's actually a bit shorter than the Warrior Mini 3. And it's not that much less powerful either. The Warrior Mini 3 is plenty powerful with 1750 lumens, and this one's going to be coming in there at 1500 lumens on turbo. That's pretty dang good, and I'm a very, very big fan of this flashlight because it is so carry friendly. We've got an anodized aluminum body with a dual clip on here, and this dual clip is great because it's going to fit well in your pocket, but also you can fit it on the brim of your hat, and that's a feature with Olight flashlights that I actually really enjoy because sometimes it's just beneficial to not have to carry this in your hand when you go to use it. If you want your hands free, great. And maybe you don't want to clip it onto your hat. Maybe you want to use this magnetic base to, I don't know, pop it on the underside of the hood of your car. If you're working on your car in the middle of the night, maybe you're stuck on the side of the road. That's great. Actuation of the Olight Baton 3 Pro is pretty standard fare for Olight. You press and hold from a dead off and it'll go into moonlight. You get about 120 days worth of runtime on here. That's insanity. It's very, very good. Now, if you press and hold, it'll actually cycle through. So low, medium, high, low, medium, high. If you double click, it'll go into turbo mode, which is plenty bright. And if you triple click, strobe mode. Yeah, I think the strobe mode is actually useful for emergency situations, or if you get attacked by a bear or a homeless person. I don't know, but the strobe light is actually pretty effective at disorienting anybody that happens to be looking at it. This is a great light, and I love my other Olights as well, like for example the Warrior Mini 3, and then also the Olight Baton 3 Pro Max, which is 2500 lumens. So if you really wanted to get something more powerful, you could in fact go for the Olight Baton 3 Pro Max. And even though this is not part of OFan Day, if you want, you can pick one of these up with 10% off using my code. That's REDC for 10% off, since this is not part of the OFan Day sale. feel free to use my discount code. I can highly recommend this one. If you want something and you're okay with a little bit bigger form factor and a whole lot more power, this would definitely be the way to go. For everyone else, 1500 lumens is, well, it's more than good enough. This disappears in your hand. It feels good in the hand. Ergonomics are great. IPX8 certified. That means that it's good for 1.5 meters worth of drop resistance. It's also going to be water resistant as well, which is great because it seems like when you need a flashlight, you might not always be in the best of weather conditions. This is a good one. I can definitely highly recommend, especially for those of you who are fans of Olight, because this is in fact limited edition. As a knife collector and enthusiast myself, I can appreciate some serialized limited edition products, and this one looks great. I definitely think that it'll go well with your EDC, and it will do a great job of fitting in your pocket. Let's go ahead and check out the next one, which I'm actually really excited about. We're going to talk about the Opry II. So I typically don't spend a whole lot of time talking about pry bars or carry them, and that's primarily because I just don't have an everyday purpose for it most of the time. They take up space in your pocket, they weigh you down, and then before you know it, you're just carrying it so that you can take photos. However, I do make an exception for this one, and this is one that I'm really excited about despite the packaging leaving a lot to be desired. It is on the more simple side of packaging. But this Opry II is changing the way that I look at carrying a pry bar, and it has a lot to do with its functionality. It actually has 5 pieces of functionality here. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. First and foremost, it is in fact a pry bar, okay? Then you have the bottle opener right here, and then you also have this wrench set. This wrench set is great. You see these teeth? You can actually move down in hex bolt sizes, and those teeth will do a good job of grabbing onto it. Now that's 4. 5 is actually going to be the ruler, and the ruler here is going to be in both centimeters and in inches, and that's really useful if you need to get a measurement of something small really quick. You can actually do that. And actually I lied, there's 6. The 6th is actually one of the coolest, and that is the hex set. So it actually has a hex driver set. The side pops open and you get 6 bits. You get a T8 and a T6 Torx bit, which is great. You also get Phillips and flathead, and then also these hex bits as well. So that's 6, and I like the fact that they double-sided these because it makes it so that you don't have to have a whole lot of extra space to have what is essentially 6 driver bits. Now, if you want to use one of these, it's quite simple. You just pop it in here. There's a little detent ball that you push this past, and then it locks in. It's not going to be falling out. It's not going anywhere, and you can go ahead and adjust whatever you need to adjust real quick. If you need something, it's nice. Having all of this functionality in one small form factor package is fantastic, because typically when people think about multi-tools, they're thinking about, their Leathermans. And don't get me wrong, people love, their Leathermans and their Gerber multi-tools, and I get it. But my problem with those are that they always take up so much space, and you rarely use all of their functionalities. With this, I can actually see a big use case for this. The bottle opener, the ruler, the Torx bit, that's just fantastic to me. Also, this plain titanium finish is going to fit well with pretty much your whole carry, which I think is pretty fantastic. It does have a lanyard hole, and it does come with a lanyard if that's what you want to put on it. I think that I would leave this plain. It does stick out of your pocket just enough to be able to get a good firm grip on it, but otherwise it stays pretty nice and secure. All in all, I'm actually very impressed with these 3 new offerings from Olight. I think that they're really well done and thought out, especially when it comes to something like the Opry II. This is just fantastic, guys. But I'm also a big fan of the Silver Ridge Limited Edition Baton 3 Pro. This is going to be making its way into my daily carry a lot more often. The Metal 2 is pretty good as well for a small, light EDC knife. I don't think that you'll be disappointed with 154 cm in micarta, especially micarta that was done this well. But I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments section down below. Are you planning on picking any of these up? Have you already picked these up? If you're a VIP, these were probably available to you 2 days ago. Insanity. Absolute insanity. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you want to make sure to check out more awesome EDC content, make sure you click on the video that pops up next.